Hello, and welcome to another Leica review. Today I wanted to discuss one very important topic that keeps coming up. As you know, Leica lenses are quite expensive, and a lot of people find it hard to justify the price. Recently, I was engaged in a conversation with regards to other lenses from third-party manufacturers, saying that those lenses perform quite well and they might in place be used instead of a Leica. And I said, they both have their own places. To say one lens is better than the other would mean that a lens is not as good performing. But yet, if the characteristics they give are characteristics we search for and characteristics that we seek, then those lenses that are not as sharp or that are not as accurate may be of use to us. Now, in the current day and age, with the use of electronics, computerized equipment, the lens quality have gone up considerably. In fact, they have eliminated virtually all errors that come from human error. In the old days, for example, in the days of Dr. Walter Mandler, almost all glass in the lenses used were hand ground. Today, computers and machinery that's optimized to be very accurate do the work. It is for this very reason most of the equipment that comes out from lens manufacturers are very, very good. And for that very reason, it is fair to say that the quality of the lenses almost match each other in certain areas. Yet the characteristics, the look, and the color renditions differ considerably. Now, the conversation that I had was revolving around the 50mm lenses, and the discussion concerned the 50mm Noctilux. This Noctilux weighs 700 grams. It's a very specialty lens delivering very, very special images. Especially the bokeh, the color renditioning is almost unmatched with anything else in the market. Yet the 700-gram lens is a very heavy lens to carry around all day if you are going to photograph. Especially this lens being so fast, you probably would not want to use it daytime because you will not be able to turn the aperture to very wide. So what would happen is if you are going to use it at f1.4, you would have overexposed images. It is for that very reason and the ND filters and other instruments are used to use the bokeh characteristics of this lens. But it is to say that to put any element besides what this lens is constructed to be changes the characteristics and the renditions that this lens gives. So if you are to place an ND filter, the ND filter will react with the way the light transmits through the lens elements in this Noctilux. And it is for that very reason I try to avoid as much as possible use of filters. Yet filters in themselves have their own place. Now, my dear friends have said that the 50mm from Voigtlander is as good as a Noctilux. I said, it is a very good lens, but the characteristics are different. Yet, comparing them on the bokeh characteristics, the bokeh is also very strong. It is very unique, and perhaps have the Voigtlander look. Whether you prefer a Voigtlander look or a Leica look will all depend on your tastes. Yet they are both very unique in themselves. And this lens, which I have shot numerous times and have used it on many occasions, is a lens that I prefer for many other reasons other than the bokeh characteristics. The color renditions that this lens has is very different than what the Noctilux has, in that it provides a more nostalgic look. The look, the colors, and the color renditionings in gradation of tones reflect the feeling of nostalgia. So if you are one that would like to capture images from an era like the 1960s, the 1970s, or you'll prefer those very contrasty images, this lens will serve better than a Noctilux, because Noctilux will have a very clear, sharp, very modern look compared to this lens. Considering that the Noctilux has many aspherical surfaces, this lens has a very simple construction in 7 elements in 6 groups. This one here has 8 elements in 5 groups. So you are looking at 2 different constructions. The weight difference is a lot different. Yet, if you are going to carry a lens all around, all day, this one is almost half the weight of this one. Yet that exchange, even though their fastness is about the same, gives a lens itself to a situation where you have to make a decision. Do you prefer to have a nostalgic feeling? Do you wish to have a color contrast that are very unique? Well, this lens will serve very well for that reason. Of course, the sharpness has always been an issue, but if you are a professional and if you have used lenses for a very long time, you will realize that sharpness ends at a point. It is the other things that matter, like the fall off from the in focus area to the out of focus area, gives that 3D pop. Similarly, you will look for things like the colors, or you look the way the bokeh is rendered. And the center, the sharpness, is often something that can be debated. Is it sharper or is it less sharp? It all depends on how well you focus with the lens. It is for that reason your manual focusing that you do with these lenses is far more important than your sharpness. Having said that, it has been often debated that the lenses from Voigtlander are lenses of better quality in certain respects. For example, one of the arguments that had been going on for a very long time is that the Voigtlander lenses, like the 75mm 1.8, is faster than this Leica 75mm f2. Why would it be so different in terms of price? Shouldn't the Voigtlander cost as much as this? Well, you have to understand Voigtlander lenses are far more moderately priced. They are in line with the rest of the market, whereas Leica has had a very good reputation, has had the know-how to produce very special optics, and through that reasoning, that they are more expensive. Not to mention that these are apochromatic lenses, which means they do not have purple fringing. And it is for that very reason they do cost more. The coatings, the know-how, the branding, all affects the pricing. Yet if you are a beginner, or if you want to use these lenses for purposes like video or filming, these lenses serve very good purpose. And there are other lenses in Voigtlander's lineup, like the 35mm 1.2, is faster than the Simulux, which is f1.4. Yet the image characteristics is what you would pay for, because Simulux costing almost 4 to 5 times more than a Voigtlander. Would it justify the price? Well, it would justify the price if that is what you're looking for and that's what you're seeking. And that is something, a decision that you would have to make. Often people get caught up with the belief that a lens, because it costs more, must be better. And to better illustrate that point, I'll give you this example. This is a $100 lens. It was manufactured before the split that happened in Germany. This is size Jena, and it has DDR. So this lens is a 50mm. Yet this lens, in very similar characteristics, is still being produced today, and it costs $2,000. So is this lens any worse than the lens that we have today? Not really. Similarly, there was a lens company called Meyer-Görlitz, and they were producing lenses back in the 60s, 50s. And those lenses today, you can buy them for $50, $60. Yet they have been repackaged, now sell over 2,000 US dollars. The same optics, same design, only repackaged. So does it really make a difference what the lens can do? If you are looking for that character, that is what you should be looking for. If that character speaks to you, you may be just as happy using a 50mm lens. Now, Leica M-mount lenses are famous for a good reason. They have a history. They have a history of being used by some of the best photographers in the world. Yet, the new Leica M body, whether it's the M10 or the M240, can adapt to having a Nikon lens. So if you were to use a Nikon lens like the Nocti 58mm 1.2, that costs about $3,000. Now, why would you pay for a $3,000 lens from Nikon when you see the other lenses costing $500-$600? Because there are very special lenses in the market that have been around for a long time, and they have made a reputation. They have beaten the pinnacle of success in terms of lens construction and design. And that is what certain companies have achieved. And we must respect those achievements as we respect the Leica lenses. Dr. Voigtlander's design, the f1.0 for the 50mm Noctilux, is still continued on today, even though this lens is slightly faster. It is for that very reason, when we are purchasing lenses, we must look and examine the quality and the construction as well as the characteristics. Sadly, some of the more recent release of lenses in the market have very digitalized look. They look for that corner sharpness. Yet, some of the most expensive lenses that are used in the cinema world that cost over $30,000, they avoid that. They avoid the sharpness in the edges because that is not what we look at. We look at the center of the image, and that says a lot more than a lens's accuracy. It is for that reason investing into learning how to use lenses and understand their characteristics is the most crucial. I hope you have found this review to be informative, and you found this review to be full of knowledge that you may translate into your work. And I hope you will continue using the lenses that you feel best represent your version of life. And I thank you for watching. Please do remember to like our video and subscribe our channel. And I would appreciate it if you could donate to keep our videos coming forth. Have a good day.